Well, folks, there may be a plan on voting rights. We just don't know, but I'll get to that in a minute. But first things first, I really need to get a lawyer to investigate whether if a certain Main Street news site may be picking back off of me. It was either yesterday or the day before. A major news site published basically my my video about how Republicans are pretty much standing not to lose any seats, and in their analysis, that basically we could be very well in a 50-50 Senate again in 2022. It would be a nightmare scenario for the country. Yes, it would. Don't fool yourselves, because it would be more of Sinema and Joe Manchin having too much power, and look where we are now. But in other news, I noticed something interesting. Biden's poll numbers are exactly where Obama's was, where the public option of Obamacare was killed. And somebody doing an analysis on Manchin and Sinema actually pointed out the same thing. That conservative Democrats like Sinema and Manchin are doing the same PR campaign around Build Back Better, saying how we can't afford it, and tying the inflation argument, which, to be fair, inflation is high. But if government spending is paid for properly, that's the caveat, paid for properly, with either tax revenues or other pay-fors, there is ways that inflation can be controlled. But is Kristen Sinema interested in that? No. I can't believe Joe Manchin actually has a better tax and spend plan than Kristen Sinema, which is just talk about roles being reversed. Because Kristen Sinema is a lawyer, Joe Manchin is a businessman. Now, on to voting rights. Because, Biden's still in the low 40s, and he's actually right in the area, like I was saying, that Obama was when the public option was killed from Obamacare. And also, the same conservative Democrats, even though that got through with major concessions, are doing the same song and dance around Build Back Better. We can't afford it. We can't do this. Blah, 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 But Biden is the one that's taking the heat for it. But it's actually Democratic senators again. Because like Obama, Biden is in a tough situation where he needs every Democratic senator. Even with Obama having a 60-proof filibuster, he still needed every 60. He needed every Democratic senator lockstep with him to get that through. No Republicans voted for that one. But here's the thing. Republicans voted for his stimulus package, and it was just, I believe, Collins and Murkowski at the time. They're not voting for Biden's stimulus package this time, but Romney is interested in that. I'm sorry, I'm going off on side topics, forgive me, but here's the other plan of action that may or may not happen. Democrats found a legal maneuver to kind of outsmart Republicans. But the thing is, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin can still humiliate everybody involved if they don't go along with this. Democrats in the next coming days will take up a special procedure, just as they're going to flag it as a House message. But they're going to attach certain voting rights legislation. And the way it's going to move to the Senate is going to be flagged as a House message, but it's going to have legislation attached to it. And because this procedure is flagged as a message, it will give Democrats the authority to vote simple, debate, and also majority. It hasn't been done in quite some time, but like I said, the other part of this story, Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, John Tester, Mark Kelly, they all need to vote for this to proceed. Any one of them vote nay, it's dead. Biden apparently is working the phones for a public pressure campaign, so is Harris. So we'll see if this could actually come to fruition finally. But I wonder if it might be under too little too late to save Democrats behind. Because like I was saying earlier in the video, I did a piece not too like that video I was referencing. Democrats' worst nightmare could be that the Senate is still 50-50. And if that's the best that they can hope for, Biden is going to be in a very tough spot going forward. Because what was Obama able to accomplish legislatively with the Democratic Senate and a Republican House for the rest, which eventually led to Republican House, Republican Senate, and then Obama's Supreme Court justices started to get blocked. But also, there's another interesting development on the the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Democrats need a government funding deal badly. Because the way that the bipartisan infrastructure deal was worked was contingent on certain government funding levels increasing past the Trump budget. Democrats have been operating in Biden's term under Trump's budget, literally. They have been passing continuing resolutions, and that is actually hindering parts of Biden's infrastructure bill. There's cash available in certain areas, but in other areas there isn't. So when you have one hand tied behind your back, that just makes implementing these projects 10 times harder. So the bipartisan infrastructure bill was, like I said, bipartisan. So Democrats are hoping to use that to convince Republicans to finally do a deal so that they can at least properly implement their original infrastructure bill in getting some type of government funding deal before February 18th. I'm Todd. I'll see you next time.